All right, Shalom. It's your brother Kushab coming back at you with another lesson. And before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, infinite honors unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who taught me the truth and rule well. And peace, blessings, salutations be to the hopefully elect, as well as those that believe in the gospel, and may you endure to the end, Lord willing. All right, excuse me. And I just want to get into a quick lesson. All right, and this is I'll forget the particular title. All right, but just something that I was kind of meditating on. After I just finished doing some reading involving Solomon. All right, in which you go into the book of Ecclesiastes, right, in the Bible. It talks about the son, the words of the son of the king, all right, the preacher, all right, in which is referring to King Solomon, man, in which King Solomon, was who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, was Yahweh Shai. He was Yahweh Shai reincarnated, all right. Solomon came before Yahweh Shai, all right. That same spirit was in that man, all right. So, if you can receive that, all right. So, and what I want to touch bases on today, which this could be an epistle, all right, a letter to the younger Akim, all right, in the ministry, the younger Akim in the church, all right. And the question I pose to you is, what is there left to go back in the world to get, all right, or what is there left in the world to chase, And I posed that question because, as I was reading, all right, dealing with the book of Ecclesiastes, King Solomon, he had everything, all right. He had all of the women, all right. He had over 700 wives, man, all right. He had 1,000 women, man, all right. He had slaves, man, all right. He had all of the riches, all of the power, all right, all the money, all the glory, and he still counted everything that he had as vanity, all right. He still counted everything that he had, and he had it all. He said it's all vanity, So if, which is, like I said, if you can receive it, which, King Solomon saying, all of this shit, it don't mean nothing. It's worthless, right? So let's get that word, vanity. All right, vain. Probably goes back to vain. All right, yep. It says futile or worthless. All right, that which is vain is futile or worthless. All right. It says emptiness, vain glory, or foolish pride, empty, void. All right, so Solomon said that a lot of these things, which I'm gonna get in a second, it was futile, man. It was worthless. You see, everything that I do is vain. So what is there left to really chase, to really find, all right, to really seek in this world? Seeing the times that we're in, seeing the times that things are getting worse drastically. All right. What is there left to go back to, man? What is there left to chase, man? Nothing. You see? But so I'm gonna start off with the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. It says, "Now whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning." You see? So the things that the son of the king, all right, the preacher, King Solomon, the things that he wrote, all right, it's something that was written for our learning, all right. It was written before so that we could learn from it, man. You see? So it says, and that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So these things were written for us that, that we will be able to long suffer, that we will be able to have patience. You see? And these are the comfort in knowing these things, that if Lord willing we endure to the end, that we'll have what? Hope, all right? That our fate fail not, man. You see? But without further ado, right, just gonna get straight into it. And I'm gonna read a good bit. All right, I'm gonna read some of it in NLT, but I'm gonna jump back and forward. All right. So I'm gonna start at verse 3. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 3. And I'm just probably gonna read it, straight out through the NLT. It says, after much thought, I decided to chill myself with wine. And while still seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. In this way, I tried to experience the only happiness most people find during their brief life in this world. So he chased after the wine, right? I'm gonna give me some sips of something young. That's gonna pick me up, right? That's gonna it's gonna boost my mood. You see? It says, I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and by planting beautiful vineyards, right? So, you got all of these, just think about it, right? Young, and like I said, it's to myself first and foremost, all right? A younger man, such as myself, all right, in their 20s, and you got the opportunity of a lifetime, all right, and you just want to build a subdivision, right? Huge mansions, man. All right, you can lease them out, own them, whatever. Jay could do it, right? It says, and plant the most beautiful vineyards, right? They have all of these different types of wines that you can have a whole distillery, man. All right. It says, verse 5, I made gardens and parks, filling them with all kinds of fruits and trees. So this is the things that Solomon's heart, all right, that his heart desired to do, and he did them. Why? Because he had the power and the glory to do it. All right. But that's not the point. It's building up to get to it. Verse 6, it says, I built reservoirs to collect the water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. I bought slaves, both men and women, and others were born into my household. I also owned large herds and flocks, more than any of the kings who had lived in Jerusalem before me. So, and what the true riches, according to the scriptures, is, dealing with what? Cattle, man. All right. The money was considered to be rich. You would have to have abundances of gold and silver, all right, along with cattle. You see? So if he said he had more than any of the kings in Jerusalem that lived before him, well, that means he was the richest, right? He had the most. You see? And this is the point. It says, I collected great sums of silver and gold. You see, there you go. The treasure of many kings and provinces. I hired wonderful singers, both men and women, and had many beautiful concubines. It's the point. I had everything a man could desire. So King Solomon had everything a man could desire, man. All right. You wake up to, beautiful women singing to you in the morning, man. All right. You don't got to lift a finger. You don't got to work, man. You see? He had everything that a man could desire, man. All right. It was nothing that King Solomon wanted for. You see? So us brothers in this time, we want for things, right? We want to go after things, try to get things, right? And nothing's wrong with improving your situation, right? You could make a little bit more money, do it, all right? But what we don't do is compromise these things for the truth. You see? We keep our integrity in straight. We hold fast to our integrity, man. You see? We have jobs, $400, $500 a day, right? In which is good money. But they have to be passed up. Why? Because, we need you to work on Saturdays, right? We need you to work on days where we have classes, right? Conferences, man. All right? So that's not conducive to the truth, That's not conducive to fellowshipping and being with the brethren, man. So we turn those things down, right? And understanding the greater reward that we have at hand, right? So in verse 9 it says, so I became greater than all who had lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all my labors. You see? It says, and this is the point, but as I looked at everything I had, but As I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless. See that? I read it in the KJV. It says, then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. So he had everything a man could desire, you see, which is why you have these so-called celebrities in the world. When they get the bag, right, they touching $1 billion. They say they always have these people coming out confessing on, how I feel so lonely, I feel sad inside. Well, what's lonely about having everything a man can want in the world, right? What's lonely about that? Well, the case in point is that they don't have the spirit, all right, or the wisdom from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man, right? And this is what Solomon is speaking about. You see, he mentioned, his wisdom once, and he's going to mention it again, all right? It says, verse 12, it says, so I decided to compare wisdom with foolishness and madness, for who can do this better than I, the king? You see? So he compared the wisdom to all of his desires and things that he had in the world, man. All right? It says in the KJV, it says, I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly, for what can the man do that cometh after the king? Even that which had been done already. Okay, verse 13, it says, then I saw that wisdom exalted folly, as far as light excelleth darkness, right? So he says, just as wisdom exalted folly, man, or excellent folly. So meaning it can't hold a candle next to it, man, because wisdom, like it says in Sirach, the 6th chapter, Proverbs, it also talks about it in Sirach, the 6th chapter, but they say in Proverbs that wisdom is the principal thing, all right? So this is what we should be seeking after. This is what we should be chasing after, man. And with all that get understanding, you see? So compared to chasing after the things in the world, then to wisdom, we ought to chase after wisdom, man, right? That's why I say in Wisdom of Solomon, all right, therefore the desire of wisdom bring it to a kingdom, you see? Because we know that we are going to get everything that we want and more, you see? But we have to what? Desire wisdom, man, all right? That's what our hearts, all right, our la'ab, since I did the lesson yesterday on our la'ab, right, our minds need to be focused, need to be set on what? The kingdom, man, you see? Let me get a precept real quick, right, one of my favorites. It's the book of Matthew chapter 6. Verse 21, I'll just get straight to the point. It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, right? And I'll just read up. I'll start at 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures on earth. In which, this goes into the lesson, right? Laying not up for ourselves treasures on earth, man. Seeking after the things of the world, right? Which we see people, so-called classmates, right? Family members, all right, even friends that's in the world, get ahead, right? Become these, so-called, start making 6-7 figures, right? We see these things, but we know the secrets in which they don't know. They don't know that these things are going to perish in an instant, right? They don't know that these things they're going to watch these things vanish away within moments, you see? So why put all this work in, put all this effort into achieving it, you see? Hey, man, the Lord blessed you with a house, right? A car, all right? You got a little room for comfortability. Hey, man, it's not really nothing else we need. We just need to do the truth, man, all right? We just need to be fixated on finishing the job that's at hand. You see, not the fashion of this world, right? Which I'm gonna get that. The brother Cabal is one of his favorites, right? So I'm gonna refinish this out first. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, right? Because these things, these different worldly possessions that you can have, can be taken away from you, right? But it says, lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. All right, and that's why our hearts, our minds is focused on what? The kingdom of heaven. You see, nobody can't take that from us. The only person that can take this opportunity from us is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right, Yahweh and why Yahushua. All right, and that's just because we just wasn't of the elect, man. Right? It's just straight out like that. But while we still had this opportunity, all right, as the scripture said, why it is still day, all right, make the most of it, man. All right, and give not yourself over unto the affairs of this life, man. All right, things that can take you out. All right, but let me get it. 1 Corinthians 7 and 31, it says, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. All right, yeah, we use the world. All right, like I said, get ahead, bro. You got opportunities to make more money and have yourself better off, do it, right? But it's a boundary that you got to set. You see, because the Lord will bless you. All right, but one thing you got to understand, like brother always say, you know, Satan can bless you too, man. All right, and Satan will bless you with something. It'll 2 months, 2 weeks later, man, you'll be gone out the truth. You see? Hey, man, our fun, all right, our time gonna come in the kingdom, man. All right? Our time gonna come in the kingdom. You see? And having this opportunity to be what? The first fruits. You see, we're gonna be the ones to watch and actually see it be built, man. All right? Actually have a seat at the table with Yahushua, man. You see? These are the things that's promised, all right, to those who endure to the end. All right, and that's why I say, like, this epistle, you know, being to, you know, younger brothers such as myself, you know, we can't get caught up in these things, man. All right, the affairs of this life. All right, we can't get caught up in these things. So we'll go back to Ecclesiastes chapter 2. All right, that was pretty much the point. I just wanted to drop down a little bit. Yeah, so this verse 17, it says, so I came to hate life because everything done under here, the sun is so troubling. Everything is meaningless, like chasing the wind. So when you go and make this commitment, all right, to chase things in the world, it still has no value, right? It still has no meaning to it because it's all going to perish away. All right, that's why I tell you in Hebrews 13 that, you know, lost my train of thought. Hebrews 13 and 14. Let me get it, man. Completely forgot. I know. Yeah. So we have no continuing city. Yep. All right, but we seek one to come, man. You know, here we know that we don't have a continuing city. You see, we know that this place, old Babylon, all right, that thou art to be destroyed, man. So we know we don't have a continuing city here. We know that this place is going to be totally burnt to pieces. So why continue, all right, to chase things, to have glory here? No, man, we're going to get our glory in the kingdom, man. All right? We're going to get our glory in the kingdom, straight like that. All right, so it says, I read in the KJV, therefore I hated life because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit. You see, and hey, man, if the son of the son of the king, all right, the preacher, he said that all of these things are vanity and vexation of spirit, man. Who are we? And we haven't even got a chance, all right, to really have that type of power, that type of dominion, all right, that type of glory, all right, to have handmaids, man, all right, servants, man, to have concubines and wives, man. So if he said all of these things are vanity, well what are we to try to go after him? You see? So, well, that's pretty much it. All right, that's pretty much the point, man. I don't think I ever had anything else. Oh, I ended off with the Mark 8, I believe 35, right? It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. All right. So the Lord said, so you seeking to become this big thing. All right. Well, you're going to lose your life, man. All right. You're going to be put to death on this side. You see, but if you put off those things, right, and chase after what? Immortality, then what? You're going to find it, man. You see? And the sake of the gospel, which is the good news, hey, man, you're going to save it. Why? Because the Lord going to save you. All right, salvation will be granted unto you, man, But that's pretty much the point, Like I said, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, infinite honors unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Dabanas once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings and salutations be to the hopefully elect. Until next time, I say shalom.